Hello there, friendos and friendettes, and welcome to another Omega Impressions, a first impression series where I evaluate a newly released game on Steam, typically indie games, but AAAs are not beyond my grasp. This week, or today at least, Shattered Planet, a game by Kid Fox Games. To the best of my knowledge, they haven't released anything else, but I haven't searched. So this game is actually pretty interesting. It's a roguelike game that happens to have a weird perspective to it, and permits crafting. I should probably just show you it. Stop talking about it. The music is actually also very, very good. It becomes a little bit repetitive, but I'll explain a little bit more about that after I go through the options menu. So, of course, and this was nice, you have separate audio sliders for music and sounds. Kinda wish there was a master slider here because I like being able to alter everything in general, but I suppose it's not really that much of a problem. Proper resolution options. Good bit. Good bit. I think this only goes up to your monitor scale, so I can't go above 1920 by 1080 to confirm that it goes higher than that, but we'll assume it does. Windowed and full screen mode is available, multiple languages are available, but that's about it. However, this game isn't really... It's not really necessitating more options, and you'll see why in a minute. It's not really a very graphically intense game, so let's get right into it. So as I mentioned before, this is a roguelike game. This is me returning to my ship here. Now, you'll notice immediately that this game happens to be in a 2.5D isometric plane that happens to have you moving on tiles, which is very different from a lot of modern roguelike games and modern games in general. This style hasn't been done in quite a while, and it's kind of a shame because it's actually pretty cool. So your movement is basically based on mouse clicks. You move around with the mouse, and your character basically charts out paths based on how you move the mouse in different areas. It'll also show you that path. You can't turn this option off in the menu, so... And I wouldn't really anyway. It's not a kind of feature that I would want turned off. So this is the ship. This is where you will come back to every time that you die in the game, and you will die a lot in this game. Now, what do you have available? Well, from the start, you are allowed to access these sort of clone vats right here. And initially, you have the Assassin and the Renegade unlocked. You can pick their different hairstyles if you want to muck around with that a little bit. And these will... Over here, you can view their starting stats, as well as what they start with in terms of little perks. This is a perk right here. And, kind of a little bit of splash screen right there, a little bit of flavor text rather. So these are leveled up independently of one another, and you level them up by going to this station, which you also have access from the beginning of the game. This station will allow you to upgrade your strength, wits, and health based on a certain amount of scrap, which is one of the in-game currencies that you will pick up in addition to crystals, which you will find on the planet, and scrap happens to usually be in greater abundance than crystals do, and you'll see why. So this little station over here is the Rosa, as they call it. I forget what Rosa stands for. But here, you can craft either a helmet or a weapon that you can take into the environment with yourself at a cost of a certain number of crystals, and these will basically ensure your chance of survival. You can craft any level of these, but it will cost you more crystals to do so, of course starting out 5, 20, and then 50. And as you craft an item, you'll see... I got the crab hammer. Usually, you can, if I can get enough crystals, I'll show you, you can usually craft bigger items, and when you craft a new item, it will actually inform you that you're crafting a new item, and it will push you toward actually achieving a goal, which you can see here. This is kind of your little achievement screen, as it were. It's not, these aren't really based on achievements, these are mostly based on progressions. You will get research points every time you find a new item, or a new entity, or a new terrain. So you will try to find all the new stuff you can to push this research level further, because your research level permits you access to new characters, as you can see, unlocked at 10, and 10 and 7. This one was unlocked at research level 4. And they all have different little abilities, but your research is pretty much just based on finding these little objects in the environment, finding entities, finding animals, completing little events in the environment, finding new companions. You can have companions, unlocking new weapons, as you can see here. These are ones that I unlocked from using the Rosa. New armor, which is pretty much exclusively helmets. And yes, for you hipsters out there, if I can find it, there is a fedora. Very nice little item there. It's more a reference to Indiana Jones than hipsters, which kind of disappoints me a little bit, but you know. Consumables, pretty much just what you would think. They're kind of like little health pickups that you can find in the world. They're not they're usually a little bit random. And then you have guns. I've only found this one because you can purchase it. This basically lets you, this DNA extractor lets you kill an entity, and if you kill it, you can come over here to your little sort of pet vat, and it will let you replicate that pet that you've unlocked if you've hit it with the gun. Or if you've completed an event that'll let you have that pet. These pets are pretty useful, but you need more of these crystals to actually get them, and they don't tend to live very long, so I find it's kind of pointless to have them, but if you can find one just randomly lying around in the environment, it's good to take one. Now, as I said before, you can start out with this station and your upgrade station, but you do not start out with the pet station and, yeah, or this little robot over here. These are also unlocked through research levels, and presumably you would unlock more different stations through research levels. I just haven't gone far enough in the game to actually find those research levels because I pretty much just wanted to give you my first impressions, and after having put about 2 hours into this game, it's pretty easy to say what this game is. So I've probably yammered on for enough. I should also show you this little weapon locker over here. You can access any items that you're storing over here. Usually weapons and helmets are what you'll be picking up, but there are some sort of like health items that you can get. I'm already geared up to go. I've already created my motorcycle helmet looking thing and my sacrificial knife. Neither of them are particularly good. I think these were the bronze class, the very low ranking, 2-star ranking items. So now what you have here are several different modes. I believe there are 5 in total? Yes, there are. Alright, so you have Explorer mode, which your basic goal is to explore as much of the terrain as possible and just get as far as possible as you can. And in the process of doing so, you'll earn crystals, you'll find new scrap, and you'll kill new enemies and enter their stuff into your log. That's the basic mode for when you don't have the items to go into different modes, and you really need to find a way to progress through the game. The data log is one of these select missions, of which there are 3, and these will net you bigger rewards if you can beat them. They're not endless, and they have a set number of locations that you have to go through, but they are immensely harder compared to the basic stuff that you have to go through. And as a result, that's why the Explorer mode is in the game, so that you can continue to build up your characters by going into the Explorer mode, picking up scrap, picking up crystals, upgrading your character, and that way you'll eventually be good enough to go into this mode, and you'll eventually craft the items good enough. Now, the data log is not something I've actually completed. I've made it pretty far into it, but it is really hard. Like, when this game says hard, it's not kidding, and you'll see why. Signal I haven't even attempted, Old I haven't even attempted. I'll show you all 3 just for the sake of showing you. Then you also have the daily challenge, which has a variable difficulty, but will also put you in the game with set items, and you can get rewards based on how far you go. Much like the Explorer mode, it's kind of like the combination between the Explorer mode and these challenge modes, because in this mode, you can go a certain distance and you'll still be rewarded for it. You don't actually have to go that far into silver. A distance of 4 is actually enough to get to the silver in the daily challenge usually. I've never made it to gold because it's kind of hard. Distance 10 appears to be gold. So, let's go into Explorer mode real quick. Alright, so as you can see, the enemy's not attacking me. Now, why is that? Well, I'll move and I'll show you. All of the enemies and everything that goes on in the world is based pretty much off of your movement, so when you move, everything else in the environment moves with you. Now, they might not move exactly in time with you, and they might not try to be hostile toward you, but if you move, the enemy will move. Now, that also works for combat, so I attack, it attacks, and this pretty much just repeats on a cycle. So if you attack, the enemy will attack, and so on and so forth. This actually adds a level of strategy to the game, because it kind of compels you to try to think your way around the enemy, and try to think your way out of certain situations so you don't have to get yourself caught up in a bunch of enemies and get yourself cornered. Because the enemies can corner you, kind of in the way that chess works. The enemies can corner you to the point where you just can't move away from them, and you have to fight your way out of all of them. Like right here, I'm cornered, I can't go anywhere, so I have to just sit here and fight. And I can try to keep moving. Hopefully I can get out of here. That little creature over there is a, I don't remember, I think it's, well, let's look at my little DNA thing. Enemies, there it is, it's a blight carrier. So, you saw before that there was little purple spots forming on the ground back there. I don't really want to go back because that'll continue to spread. And that kind of will continue to expand, and it'll corrupt any enemies on it, making them more dangerous and automatically hostile to you, as well as spawning those little blight carriers. And they deal a little bit more damage to you innately, so you want to try to move away from them as fast as possible. This adds a certain not a certain, this adds a certain sort of time element to the game because you are kind of challenged to complete it as fast as possible, or at least as timely as possible, so you don't get caught up by the blight entities and you don't get absolutely slaughtered by them. Now you saw there the game tried to proposition me to jump down. You can actually jump down to advance to the next stage of the level, and I should probably explain how that works. So, what you're trying to do is when you enter a new area, you're looking for a teleporter. When you find that teleporter, you'll advance to the next distance, as it were, like right there. And when you advance to the next distance, it will allow you to, it'll say that you move to a different distance, and the enemies will get a little bit stronger, there will be more of them, but the environment will expand a little bit, and there will be more for you to explore. Now, you don't have to immediately go there, you can continue to explore, and often it's valuable for you to do so, because there is some stuff that you can find around, like there's a little vendor that'll sell you stuff for scrap, or there's more scrap to pick up, like in this example, so you never want to go immediately through the teleporter. So, now we can go through it. And that's basically a little stat screen of how far you explored and what your current standing is. And it's got a cute little crablet. Alright, so these tribesmen are part of the second area. Pretty much when you go into Explorer mode, these terrains are the same up until a point, and you'll have to keep moving through them. So this terrain is always going to be the second one you face. The terrain that you encountered the first time will be the first terrain that you always face, and so on and so forth. So you'll never really have that much variety until you get to like distance 3 and then distance 4 and then every distance subsequent to that. Now I don't really want to stay here because I might die, so I'm just going to go ahead and go on to distance 3. Like I said before, sometimes it's advantageous to move on to the distance immediately, sometimes it's not. And so this is distance 3, which is going to be a little bit harder. Like I said, it gets harder every time. And of course the entities continue to just move around you. There's a good amount of enemy variety from what I've seen so far, but some of the things are kind of samey. They get samey after a while. Like, you'll fight the same sort of small entities, you'll fight the same sort of, like these guys. These guys don't really do anything different from the crablets, they just have more health. So you'll end up fighting kind of the same enemies over and over again, which is a little bit annoying, but you kind of just gotta roll with it. You'll find little things in the environment. Those rocks that I just found, or that rock rather, singular, is a little sort of meta event. If I had pried out of that, I would have gotten a little rock that allows me to do blight damage, but I didn't, so I just pushed it over and got some health out of it. If ever you have a chance to get health, it's recommended you do so, because if you don't, you are way more likely to die. And you kind of just want to survive as long as you can in this game. This game is a roguelike, it's about survival, so the objective is just to keep going and explore as much territory as possible, and you want to do that whenever possible. So you want to be picking up these little orange items which contain mystery fluid. Any of the little containers you find will contain mystery fluid, and you want to find those as fast as possible, because the mystery fluid it can either give you a negative effect or it'll give you a positive effect. And as a result, it's generally good to just try and drink one anyway, because it's so variable and most of the time you'll get a positive effect. So it's probably just a better idea to drink them instead of just leaving them lying around. You also see him picking up these cards. It's another mechanic to the game. Often you'll find little bridges that you'll have to use the key cards for. Nothing really extreme, but it's a nice little feature to find. Encourages some exploration, because as you find the key cards, you'll inherently want to go exploring for more bridges, like this one. And you can see I entered a new area. So you just want to keep kind of advancing. You can find little events like this, which are actually very similar to the events that you found in Faster Than Light, where you have options to just kind of interact with little things in the environment. So I could either fuel this or scavenge. I think if I fuel it I get more health, but I'm not really sure. You feed sticks, and I got warm light, so I got plus 10 to strength. So you'll usually get either a buff or you'll get some health if you complete one of these little events. But it's often variable what you'll get. It'll provide you 2 options, and you have to take one of the 2 options, and it's never really exacting what you'll get out of those. So this is a crablet hive. I'm just going to try and move away from this because I really don't want to deal with it. And like I said before, you can outrun the enemies because of this sort of timed combat system, or timed movement system rather. So oftentimes you'll want to just keep moving through it. And now I'm going to advance to 6, which is actually a new area for me. I've never gone to distance 6, so this is pretty interesting. It's still New Pampas, though. That little guy, I believe his name is Dex. He will give you a little blip of information, or just kind of congratulate you every time you make a new distance. Which is kind of nice. It's a nice little bit of encouragement. Or he'll say something incredibly sarcastic, which will kind of make you hate him a little bit. or kind of dread what you're about to go through, but either way, it's pretty interesting. Alright, so the Blight's also dangerous for another reason, because as you step onto it, it will actually deal damage on those full patches like those. I'm actually poisoned now, I'm going to use these. Which has given me 30 wits. I'm going to try to use that. I'm on fire. Use this, and I'm dead. Alright, so again, it's kind of variable. The orange, black, and purple mystery liquids will give you different effects, but most of the time they tend to be more negative than the other ones. And as you saw, when you die, you have the option of posting that to Twitter. Please don't post that to Twitter because you will spam and annoy all of your followers. Please don't do it. Don't do it. So this is Dex. He says cute little things. They're a little bit informational, but most of them are kind of useless, especially if you've been playing this game for a few hours. You can, of course, go to your little robot and buy either some healing items. This is actually one of the best healing items you could buy, or another DNA extractor. I don't really want one because I don't really have use to the pets, but I might show you what it does. But let's try out the Rosa here, see if we can get a new, better quality item. There we go. So we got the space helmet. And as you'll see, I got some crystals from that. Whenever you discover a new item or entity, or whenever you discover something new in general, you'll get a little bit of crystals out of it. So if you get new items out of the Rosa, you'll be refunded some of your crystals, which is actually nice. It kind of encourages you to keep pumping crystals into it. Like right there, I got even more, so I should probably go up to, yep, 6. Now 6 isn't enough to really buy anything useful, so I'm not going to try to, but... And there's even a Stormtrooper helmet, which actually reduces your wits and fates. So there's always incentive to go back and do that, but generally you probably only want to use it once or twice just to see if you can get a weapon or a helmet out of it, simply because you kind of want both. The more that you're carrying, the better chance you have to get through the environment better. The space helmet's a little bit, probably not that useful to me. I could probably put something else on that would be a little bit more useful. Applies electric absorb. Let's not roll with that. Actually, let's keep it. It's probably better than what else I have. So that's about the gist of the game. That's what adventure mode is about. Now I could go into the daily challenge right here, which is going to reassign me to this equipment. And actually, it's a little RoboCop helmet right there. And I think I'll go ahead and do that and show you what this is all about. So the daily challenge, again, isn't any different from the Explorer mode, except for the fact that you are immediately dropped in and expected to just get as far as you can with the items that they give you. And you can pick up new items and use them if you find them, but they expect you to use those. And a big red button. That's probably a self-destruct of some kind, because it has a skull and crossbones on it, so I'm not going to touch it. There's a crystal option here. So we'll just try to move through as far as we can, and even if we just stop now, in fact, if we jump right here, this will move us on to the second distance, we'll probably at least net us bronze. So you can jump to advanced distances, but you take 75 health damage, so sometimes it's just not an option. Now you'll notice the environments of this game are actually pretty interesting, but I'm gonna die before I can enjoy them, so... 2! I got bronze. Not very good at the game. Also, don't tweet that you just succeeded to your friends either. Alright, I think I should show you one of the pets, so let's get out my little venomous crablet. He's pretty cute. I can summon him, or I can just hold on to him, but if I die while I'm just holding on to him, he will completely disappear, so it's probably not a very good idea. So, you've probably gotten the gist of what this game is about. You go in, you try to survive as long as you can, it's a roguelike, and in the process of doing so, you will try to advance through levels, become a little bit better, and explore further every time. And you can pick up these little pets, you're encouraged to discover new things. Like, look at all this territory I haven't unlocked. I've discovered like 4 different kinds of terrain. There's tons of different terrain to discover, so obviously this game goes a lot further than the basic stuff I've already shown you. So there's a lot to this game, and it's actually incredibly compelling, because every time you die, even if you think you've run out of crystals, you'll pretty much always have enough to use the Rosa at least once. Which is really good, because it incentivizes you to keep trying to make stuff, and keep trying to survive. You're always incentivized to try and make new stuff. Like there, I got some crystals out of that because I made a new helmet, and I can wear it out with me. So let's go ahead, and we're just gonna... Let's go to the hardest mission ever, and see what that's like. I've never been to this. Now, the natives are probably going to start hostile, or not. So, the natives are actually not hostile. Thus far, this isn't that bad, then. Alright, so we're here to see what's riling the... Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, no. No, no, no. I don't know what that is. I don't want to know what that is. Apex Predator, no! Oh, God. And this is a situation where I'm trapped. It's like chess. I can't move anywhere. And he's corrupted, as you see. So I'm just gonna die instantly. Not very far, but I got some scrap out of that, so that's something. It ain't much, but it's something. So let's just go in here, show you how helpless you are without a spear and magic helmet, so to speak. Another mission. So this is some new territory. This is kind of metallic territory I've never been on before. That's probably a turret. Yep. So if you move anywhere about, I think it's 2 spaces in front of a turret, in any direction, the turret will hit you, which I think is kind of a problem, but the game says that there are items that'll let you jump over turrets. I've never seen them. I'm not convinced they exist. Let's use the teleporter and see if we can get anywhere. Yeah, I'm not convinced there's something that'll let you jump over the turrets yet. But maybe there is, I don't know. So, yeah, the game is actually really fun for a roguelike, and at $15, I'd say it's pretty well worth the money that you're paying for it. Now, I hope that the devs will continue to update this game, because this is a game that would really benefit from being updated pretty consistently. There's just so much to do, and having even more to do in the game would make it a whole lot better. But it's kind of up in the air right now. I don't know. But for $15, yeah, this game is definitely worth picking up. And currently it's on sale at $13.99 until the 10th of July. And while this game doesn't have any co-op or anything of that nature, it does have leaderboards, apparently, where you can... Well, it doesn't have leaderboards, but it does give you a method to show off to your friends, which is definitely worth something. Everyone likes showing off. Let's fight this little crab creature. Not gonna kill it. Gonna die. Yeah. That's how weak you are if you don't have a Spirit Magic helmet. But yeah, that's about the gist of it. So that was Shattered Planet. If you're wondering if there's a story, or a reasoning as to why this planet is shattered, no, there's not. There's a shattered planet, you explore it. That's about it. So my name has been Omega. If this looks like a game you'd want, pick it up. I would certainly recommend it. I'll see you guys next time.